Good evening. I did finish eating my food and upload. I go to my bed because I'm always sleepy. It's 8:20. I'm always sleepy. Not always, but mostly I'm sleepy because I sleep very late and I just get up every morning. I get up before 9 a.m. No matter how late I even I sleep, 4 a.m. in the night. But I don't do that. But I had to sleep late because sometimes I wake up after a few hours. I cannot go to sleep. I cannot go to sleep 11 p.m. because maybe I wake up 3 a.m. in the night. I cannot sleep again. So I cannot go to sleep like at 10 p.m. because maybe I wake up 1 p.m. I wake up 1 a.m. in the night and not able to sleep.
ACAP claimed responsibility for a February 2012 suicide attack on the presidential palace that killed 26 Republican guards on the day that President Hadi was sworn in. ACAP was also behind a suicide bombing that killed 96 soldiers in Sana'a 3 months later. In September 2012, a car bomb attack in Sana'a killed 11 people, a day after a local al-Qaeda leader said al-Shirai was reported killed in the south. By 2012, there was a small contingent of U.S. Special Operations troops in addition to CIA and unofficially acknowledged U.S. military presence in response to increasing terror attacks by ACAP on Yemeni citizens. 212. Many analysts have pointed out the former Yemeni government role in cultivating terrorist activity in the country. 213. Following the election of President Abdrabbi Mansur Hadi, the Yemeni military was able to push Ansar al-Sharia back and recapture the Shabwa governorate. Current, November 2021. Political and military control in ongoing Yemeni civil war. 2014 present, controlled by the government of Yemen, under the Presidential Leadership Council since April 2022, and allies controlled by Houthis-led Supreme Political Council controlled by Al-Qaeda, ACAP, and Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant-affiliated Ansar al-Sharia. Controlled by the UAE-backed Southern Transitional Council, the central government in Sana'a remained weak, staving off challenges from southern separatists and Houthis as well as ACAP. The Shia insurgency intensified after Hadi took power, escalating in September 2014 as anti-government forces led by Abdul Malik al-Houthi swept into the capital and forced Hadi to agree to a unity government. 214. The Houthis then refused to participate in the government. 215. Although they continued to apply pressure on Hadi and his ministers, even shelling the president's private residence and placing him under house arrest. 216. Until the government's mass resignation in January 2015. 217. The following month, the Houthis dissolved parliament and declared that a revolutionary committee under Mohammed Ali al-Houthi was the interim authority in Yemen. Abdul Malik al-Houthi, a cousin of the acting president, called the takeover a glorious revolution. However, the constitutional declaration of the 6th of February 2015 was widely rejected by opposition politicians and foreign governments, including United Nations. 26. Hadi managed to flee from Sana'a to Aden, his hometown and stronghold in the south, on the 21st of February 2015. He promptly gave a televised speech rescinding his assignation, condemning the coup, and calling for recognition as the constitutional president of Yemen. 218. The following month, Hadi declared Aden Yemen's temporary capital. 219. 220. The Houthis, however, rebuffed the initiative by the Gulf Cooperation Council and continued to move south toward Aden. All U.S. personnel were evacuated, and President Hadi was forced to flee the country to Saudi Arabia. On the 26th of March, 2015, Saudi Arabia announced Operation Decisive Storm and began airstrikes and announced its intentions to lead a military coalition against the Houthis, whom they claimed were being aided by Iran, and began a force build-up along the Yemeni border. The coalition included the United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, Jordan, Morocco, Sudan, Egypt, and Pakistan. The United States announced that it was assisting with intelligence, targeting and logistics. After Hadi troops took control of Aden from Houthis, jihadist groups became active in the city, and some terrorist incidents were linked to them, such as Missionaries of Charity attack in Aden on 4 March 2016. In February 2018, Aden was seized by the UAE-backed separatist Southern Transitional Council. 221. Yemen has been suffering from a famine since 2016 as a result of the civil war. More than 50,000 children in Yemen died from starvation in 2017. 222. 223. Numerous commentators have condemned the Saudi-led coalition's military campaign, including its blockade of Yemen, as genocide. 224. 225. 226. The famine is being compounded by an outbreak of cholera that has affected more than 1 million people. 227. The Saudi Arabian-led intervention in Yemen and blockade of Yemen have contributed to the famine and cholera epidemic. 228. 229. The UN estimated that by the end of 2021, the war in Yemen would have caused over 377,000 deaths, and roughly 70% of deaths were children under age 5. 230. 231. On the 4th of December, 2017, deposed strongman and former President Ali Abdullah Saleh, accused of treason, was assassinated by Houthis whilst attempting to flee clashes near rebel-held Sana'a between Houthi and pro-Saleh forces. 232. After losing the support of the Saudi-led coalition, Yemen's President Abd Mansur Hadi resigned, and the Presidential Leadership Council took power in April 2022. 233. Geography. A topographic map of Yemen. Yemen covers 530,000 square kilometers, 204,634 square mi, and is located at the southern part of the Arabian Peninsula. 234. It is bordered by Saudi Arabia to the north, the Red Sea to the west, the Gulf of Aden and Gardafu Channel to the south, and Oman to the east. Several Red Sea islands, including the Hanish Islands, Comoran and Perim, as well as Socotra in the Arabian Sea, belong to Yemen. The largest of these is Socotra. Many of the islands are volcanic. Jabal al-Tair Island had volcanic eruptions in 1883 and 2007. Although mainland Yemen is in the southern Arabian Peninsula and thus part of Asia, and its Hanish Islands and Perim in the Red Sea are associated with Asia, the archipelago of Socotra, which lies east of the Horn of Somalia and is much closer to Africa than to Asia, is geographically and biogeographically associated with Africa. 235. Regions and climate. Yemen's Köppen climatic classification map, 236, is based on temperature, precipitation and the seasonality. BWH hot desert, BWK cold desert, BSH hot semi-arid, BSK cold semi-arid, CWB subtropical highland. Yemen can be divided geographically into four main regions: the coastal plains in the west, the western highlands, the eastern highlands, and the Rub al-Khali in the east. The Timur, hotlands or hot earth, form a very arid and flat coastal plain along Yemen's entire Red Sea coastline. Despite the aridity, the presence of many lagoons makes this region very marshy and a suitable breeding ground for malaria-borne mosquitoes. Extensive crescent-shaped sand dunes are present. The evaporation in the Tayamar is so great that streams from the highlands never reach the sea, but they do contribute to extensive groundwater reserves. Today, these are heavily exploited for agricultural use. Near the village of Madar, about 50 kilometers, 30 mi, north of Sana'a, dinosaur footprints were found, indicating that the area was once a muddy flat. The Tayamar ends abruptly at the escarpment of the Western Highlands. This area, now heavily terraced to meet the demand for food, receives the highest rainfall in Arabia, rapidly increasing from 100 millimeters, 3.9 in, per year to about 760 millimeters, 29.9 in Taiz, and over 1000 millimeters, 39.4 in it. Temperatures are warm in the day but fall dramatically at night. The Central Highlands are an extensive high plateau over 2000 m, 6,562 feet, in elevation. This area is drier than the Western Highlands because of rain shadow influences, but still receives sufficient rain in wet years for extensive cropping. Water storage allows for irrigation and the growing of wheat and barley. Sana'a is in this region. The highest point in Yemen and Arabia is Jabal al-Nabi Shu'aib, at about 3,666 m, 12,028 feet. 234, 237. Yemen is the sixth most water-stressed country in the world. Yemen's portion of the Rub al-Khali Desert in the east is much lower, generally below 1,000 m, 3,281 feet, and receives almost no rain. It is populated only by Bedouin herders of camels. Biodiversity. Dracena syllabary at Socotra Island, a South Arabian relief from the 5th century BC, in Walter's Art Museum. On the left side of this relief, a lion attacks a gazelle, while a rabbit tries to jump away from the gazelle's forelegs. On the right, a leopard jumps down from rocks onto the back of an ibex. A small rodent flees hoofs of the ibex. Birds in the branches of acacia trees observe the two scenes. Yemen contains 6 terrestrial ecoregions: Arabian Peninsula coast, Al-Fog Desert, Socotra Islands, arid shrublands, southwestern Arabian foothills, savanna, southwestern Arabian mountain woodlands, Arabian desert, and Red Sea Nubos Indian tropical desert and semi-desert. 238. The flora is a mixture of the tropical African Sudanian plant geographical region and the Sahara-Arabian region. The Sudanian element, characterized by relatively high rainfall, dominates the western mountains and parts of the highland plains. The Sahara-Arabian element dominates in the coastal plains, eastern mountain, and the eastern and northern desert plains. A high percentage of Yemen plants belong to tropical African plants of Sudanian regions. Among the Sudanian element species the following may be mentioned: Ficus spp, Acacia mellifera, Grewia villosa, Comifera spp, Rosa abyssinica, Cadaba farinosa, and others. 239. Among the Sahara-Arabian species, these here may be mentioned: Panicum turgidum, Ereva javanica, Zygophyllum simplex, Fagonia indica, Salsola spp, Acacia tortillisa humulos, Aerenbergiana, Phoenix dactylifera, Hyphenitha baker, Caparis deciduo, Salvadora pasica, Balanite sigichica, and many others. Many of the Sahara Arabian species are endemic to the extensive sandy coastal plain. The Tiama. 240. Among the fauna, the Arabian leopard, which would inhabit the mountains, is considered rare here. 241. Politics. Yemen is a republic with a bicameral legislature. Under the 1991 constitution, an elected president, an elected 301-seat Assembly of Representatives, and an appointed 111-member Shura Council share power.